But Mark, we're going to move on and end the podcast like we always do. And I did not make this joke in the Primetime podcast this week, but for YouTube, hello, this is the first time you're seeing us. You're seeing the end before you see the beginning. I didn't make that joke during the Primetime podcast. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, you've been trucking right on through, and you're going to end the podcast with our picks. Let's get right into it. Interesting week last week.
Yeah.
This week we even have a more interesting one. The Thursday night game, probably won't watch it because this matchup doesn't interest me. Let's be honest, I probably will. I got nothing going on Thursday. We got the Dolphins 4-2. We got the Ravens 3-4. Who you got? Ravens a 3-point favorite.
I'm going with Matt Moore and the Miami Dolphins. I believe in it. You know, I think that...
And David Fales is the backup.
Yeah, David Fales is there too. I think that Moore... Ajay and Gase can really get some stuff done. And that's really going to help my fantasy team.
Not the quarterback.
No, I believe in that.
Just the running back and the coach.
I think I'm throwing Matt Moore in there too. He'll be able to dink and dunk. But I think this is really going to do wonders for my fantasy team.
Yeah, I am going to go with the Dolphins as well, only because the Ravens do not bode confidence for me.
No.
Plus, you lost to the Bears, so 0-16 the rest of the way.
Everybody at this point is going to start losing to the Bears.
After you lose to the Bears, it's like, great, we lost to the rookie. Let's lose every other game after that. But no, I just like the Dolphins in this one, even without Jay Cutler.
Good stuff coming up here. I like it.
The next one, and last week, because it wasn't an 8:30 game, I didn't look at where it was, so people for the Arizona-LA game were like, how did these bums not know it's in London? Because it was a noon start.
Because who fucking cares if it's in London?
It was a noon start. It was because I referenced, if this was at home, they would have won, but because they're on the road in LA. That's the only reason.
But who cares that the game's in London?
But this one is in London. It's an 8:30 start here in Chicago. We got the winless Browns, my 5-2 Vikings. And I'm saying this, I told you before we recorded, this is my lock of the week. If there's any game in a Survivor League, you're putting them down. If you haven't picked the Vikings, pick them this week. No way they lose 9.5-point favorites going with the Vikes.
All right, and you said lock of the week. Therefore, I'm picking the Cleveland Browns to win this game. Yeah, why the hell not?
Okay.
It's in London. Why not? Crazy shit can happen. Quarterback by committee will somehow win this game 12-9.
Against that Viking defense?
12-9.
That Mitch Trubisky couldn't even beat?
Well, Mitch Trubisky was first game. You got to give him a chance.
Oh, got to give him a little.
I mean, he threw the ball too many times. If he'd only threw the ball 7 times, the Bears would have won.
So it's that 8th time that really screwed him up.
Don't start throwing it too much.
The next game, we've got the Raiders at 3-4, the Bills at 4-2, Buffalo 2.5-point favorites. Who you got?
I'm going to ride with the Oakland Raiders on this one. I'm going with the belief that they are back. It's going to be a very tough win for them because they are at Buffalo. So that's going to be tough. But I definitely think that this team needs to continue making the statement from last week and say, we are back. We're going to win games now. We're taking this division.
Yeah, I am going to go with the Bills. I think this will be the second time they win back-to-back games. Mainly the reason why I'm taking the Bills, no Marshawn Lynch. Didn't matter if there was Marshawn Lynch. The Bills are a top 10 rushing defense, and all they have to do is limit Derek Carr, make him not throw 400 yards in this game. I think they do that. They stifle the running game. LaShawn McCoy gets a couple touchdowns. Bills win this game. Then we've got an interesting one. We've got the 2-4 Bengals. Joe Mixon saying that he wants more carries. His coach and Marvin Lewis says that he needs to mature, which I look at Marvin Lewis and go, what did you expect?
Yeah.
What did you expect from Joe Mixon?
He's going to mature in your locker room?
What did you expect? That he needed to mature? Because that's all we were saying in the offseason. They're going up against the NAIA team, the Indianapolis Colts.
Yep.
The Bengals are 10-point favorites. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, you got to roll with the Bengals. I mean, you can't trust the Indianapolis Colts. I mean,
like I said, the NAIA Indianapolis Colts.
I don't like either one of these teams to win much, but when they got to face each other, you got to pick one.
Well, and then we're going to move right on the Chargers, who we talked about, 3-4.
Yep.
Do they go into Gillette and beat the Patriots? The Patriots are only 7.5-point favorites. What are you seeing in your crystal ball?
Only 7.5. No biggie.
Well, I say only 7.5 because I expect them to win by like 21.
I think that the New England Patriots are going to win this game. I mean, they're riding high, beating the Atlanta Falcons.
Winning their second Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Beating them again. They're going to ride that one high. I think LA is going to play pretty tough for New England. They're going to surprise and impress some people, despite what I was kind of getting down on them for.
Is this going to be a Gostkowski last-second kick to get Ricky some fantasy points?
I don't think it's going to be that because they don't want Ricky to win anything in fantasy. But no, I definitely think that this is probably a one-possession game.
And then we'll move on. We've got the Bears with who Mark's calling the GOAT, Mitch Trubisky, the Trubiscuit, 3-4 on a 2-game win streak, I believe. Yep. Going up against the Saints in the Superdome. Saints are 9-point favorites, and I got to ride with him, Mark. I think that the Saints team ends the win streak for Trubisky, and the Bears get the loss.
Well, this is an interesting matchup because you have a great passing game in New Orleans against a overperforming defensive backfield in
how many
Chicago.
touchdowns does Eddie Jackson get this game? Does he get 2 like he had last week?
Maybe he'll up it and get 3 this time.
Okay.
But, first player in history to get a 75 and then a 76. Pretty impressive. Although it's funny how online and on the internet and Twitter and stuff like that, everyone's like, yeah, I told you Eddie Jackson was going to be great.
No, you didn't.
Just because he's from Alabama didn't mean that everybody thought he was going to be amazing. Although the injury really is, a big fact. But anyways, you have a great defensive line in New Orleans that's going to go up against a great running game in Chicago. So this is like the unmovable wall, and the unstoppable.
Not just a great running game, but also a great running quarterback. You see that?
Yeah.
I know his knee was down, but you see that dive from Trubisky?
The man knows what he's doing.
Reaching for the pylon. If it wasn't for
he always gets one of those.
If it wasn't for Julius Jardinere Peppers just touching him, he would have got a touchdown.
So I think that this is an interesting matchup. I gotta pick the Chicago Bears because Mitch is in the game, and I believe in Mitch. He only needs to throw it 7 times, and they can still win. But it's going to be interesting. I definitely think that Chicago is going to have a tough time if they win this game, but I'm going to believe.
What about the next one? Falcons in New York to play the Jets. Atlanta's only a 5-point favorite. Who you got?
I'm going to finally do it. New York Jets fans, I'm going to pick your team. Are you going to do it too?
We're both doing it. I'm picking the Jets.
I'm doing it first. New York Jets teams like me more than you like Ricky. Y'all hate Ricky because he said you were going to be 0-16. I believe in the New York Jets for this one. You can pick the Falcons.
Can I be completely honest?
Pick a tie?
The only reason I'm picking the Jets is because I want the Falcons to go 0-4 against the AFC East.
I mean,
in consecutive games. Like, they play AFC East for 4 straight games, and they would go 0-4.
I feel like they either are super embarrassed right now, and they use that as fuel to the fire, and they go out and destroy the Jets.
Or Josh McCown lights them up.
Or the flip side is that they're like, God, we suck this year. What is wrong? We're playing and then they just get destroyed.
And then we've got the next game, which this is just a bye week for the Eagles.
Yeah, picking the Eagles.
The winless 49ers going up against the 12.5-point favorite Philadelphia Eagles, 7-1.
Picking the Eagles.
7-1. Yep. Eagles get the win. Then we've got an NFC South showdown. We've got 4-3 Panthers kind of struggling a little bit. They are a 2.5-point underdog to the Buccaneers. 2-4 Buccaneers haven't been as great either this year. Who do you got? Panthers or Bucks?
I claw up. I claw up. Really, to me, I mean, these are both two teams that are surprisingly not where you thought they would be. Yeah, and what you thought. Cam Newton really is not. I don't know. He's just this big mystery of one week he looks awesome, the next week he doesn't. And I think it just really comes down to the fact that he is not playing at 100%. I think that's a huge issue for him. Fortunately for Carolina, Jameis Winston throws interceptions. You can capitalize on that. If this defense plays where they should be able to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Plus, guys like Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson are not doing what they were brought here to do. And that's kind of hurt Tampa Bay a little bit, picking the Panthers.
I am going to go on the other side. I'm going to take the Bucs. They're at home. Plus, this Panther team has kind of been on a little bit of a slip, and I don't think they regain their footing this week against the Buccaneers. Then, to me, this is one of the more interesting games this week. The first of the mid-afternoon games.
Which are all great this week.
The Texans going up against the Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle 5.5-point favorites. Do you think the Texans pull off the upset?
No, I think it's fair to have Seattle as the favorite in this one. I'm going to go with Seattle mostly because it's at home. I like a lot of things that are going on in Houston. There's no doubt about that. But really, to me, it's just kind of the going with the experience of a Seattle team. And remember, this game, it's not quite November, but we're almost to Seattle Seahawks season where they really start to turn it on and win games.
They actually play football games.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
don't let the
that's how it works.
Don't let the Giants score first on you and get me worried because you're down 7-0.
Yeah, I mean,
at home.
It's bound to happen eventually, right? And we're kind of joking here, but they're on a 3-game win streak.
Oh, they are. Well, and the last time they played at home was 2-3 weeks ago when they scored 46 against the Colts.
Yeah.
I get it. NAIA team, but still 46 at home.
Yeah, it was, let's not get too crazy here. But no, it's definitely good. I mean, they're not letting teams score points. The defense is on point. And one of those games was against the number one scoring offense, which is the LA Rams. Texans, which know how to score points like nobody's business here. They're going to do better, but Seattle, I'm taking to win.
Now, I might be hedging my bet here, but first off, there's no rookie quarterback that has won a start in Seattle since Andy Dalton in Week 11. The stats of rookie quarterbacks in Seattle from 2012, they're 0-4, 16.5 points per game, 58 completion percentage, 179 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 INTs, 42 total QBR. With that being said, Deshaun Watson walks into Seattle and wins this football game. Like, this is a guy who, first off, hasn't turned over the ball a lot. The most interceptions he's had, 2 when he played the Patriots. Ever since, he's had 1 against the Browns, Titans, and Jaguars. Against KC, where I thought he'd throw more, he's had 5 touchdowns, no INTs. I think Deshaun Jackson goes in there. We see a shootout between him and Wilson, and Watson gets the W when we get towards the end of it, going with the upset for the Texans. Then the next mid-afternoon game of 3, like you said, another good one. 3-3 Cowboys, 3-3 Redskins. Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites. However, the big thing is, yeah, everyone's all over the Cowboys after their win against the 49ers. However, the Redskins know how to stop the run this year. They've done it before. Can they contain Zeke?
I think they can contain him, but I still think Zeke's going to do good things.
Well, you're hoping he's on his fantasy
He's going to get me a lot of points in fantasy.
Is that a little bias there,
him,
Mark?
Ajay, maybe Mike Evans gets a couple tutties.
Okay.
Who knows? This is going to be a good week for my team.
No, not Deshaun Jackson. Let's not help Ricky out.
Yeah, no, it's not going to do shit. But Carson Wentz,
Chris Thompson.
All this good stuff. It's going to be great. Carson Wentz is going to throw for 6 tutties. So I think that right now with Dallas, Zeke is back again, and I think he has to make the most of his third life here from the suspension and just really drive it home.
Just call it the Deflategate treatment,
right?
The Tom Brady treatment.
Now, what this team really is going to need is a strong defensive showing to limit Cousins and a great performance from Dak. No mistakes, just kind of control. I mean, that's really what it comes down to for the Cowboys is don't let Kirk Cousins because the guy can sling it. So I think that the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to pick them to win.
I'm going to go with the Redskins. I think they bounce back from their loss against the Eagles. I'm going to say Kirk Cousins turns it on this game. This will be a game at home where Cousins goes, you know what? I'm going to come back, be Kirk Cousins of old. I think Zeke, yes, gets into the end zone once, but doesn't have a game like he had against the lowly 49ers. And we're back to asking the question about the Cowboys is, oh my God, did we pump them up too much after beating the 49ers? Then to end it's a Sunday night game. We only have 2 mid-afternoon games this week.
Don't have many options, but they're good.
What?
2 good games.
Sunday night game, though, Steelers-Lions. Steelers are a 3-point favorite. Who you got?
Here's the thing that I like about this matchup. I mean, you got a team in Matt Ryan,
Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford's Lions that score a ton of points.
Matty Stafford.
Their running game is not necessarily the most impressive thing. Of course, Stafford, he's always impressive. But the Pittsburgh Steelers do not let teams score on them. And that's really what this is going to come down to. Is this defense going to be able to put the stop on Stafford. You know, they have 3 different games where they have given up less than 10 points. I'm going to believe in the 5-2 Pittsburgh Steelers, even though the Detroit Lions really need a win against a challenging opponent. They really need that so that way they can kind of say, hey, Vikings, we're still here. You know, they beat you guys once, but their other 2 wins are against the Cardinals and the Giants.
So you're taking the Lions?
No, I'm picking the Steelers.
Okay.
I'm saying that the Lions need it.
Yeah.
But I just like this Pittsburgh defense.
And although people should say, Ricky, you're a Vikings fan, pick the Steelers, I'm going with the Lions. And the reason being is the only road games that the Steelers have won. Week 1 against the Browns, they were going up against a rookie quarterback. And that was a game you should have lost. If, what's his name, Kendall Wright, I think it was, hangs on to a football in that game, the Browns win that game. They only lost 21-18. Then you play the Ravens. I'm sorry, I don't believe in Joe Flacco. Like, Joe Flacco is not worth the money that he was paid when he used to be the highest paid quarterback. And then you play the Chiefs. Like I said, every team has that one team that they can't beat. The Patriots have the Giants. The Chiefs have the Steelers. That's how I look at that one. The only other road game, and this was their only loss, they lost to Mike Glennon, and the Bears. Not even Trubisky. You lost to Glennon on the road. Matthew Stafford, one of the better quarterbacks that they're going to play so far this season, with Alex Smith probably being the other one. However, like I said, Chiefs just can't. They get the yips against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Matthew Stafford at home, Big Ben struggles in this one. He doesn't play well on the road. I think that Matthew Stafford lights up the Steelers on Sunday Night Football to get the W, and I think 4 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford is what we'll see. And then the last game we've got...
It's a lot to say against a team that only lets up 16 points a game.
The last one we have, Broncos at 3-3, Chiefs at 5-6. Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites. Is this the game that the Broncos play the divisional opponent tough and get back on track?
No, because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that they've lost 2 games now, and they're on a bit of a slide.
They could have won last week easily. Yeah. They only lost by 1.
But this team is still scoring more points than almost anybody. Second highest scoring offense. You know, they're sharing that honor. But this is a team that, sure, they're letting up more points than they'd like, but the defense is still looking good. They know how to run it. They know how to throw it. Alex Smith is looking damn impressive all the time, every game. He just wants to shut Sean up. And I think he's just going to continue to do it. Denver Broncos team has not been as good as they should be. The defense is not as good as it should be this year. Although not bad, it's just not where it should be. And Kansas City's going to take advantage of that, especially when they're at home. They're going to defend Arrowhead just fine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs only because Alex Smith greater than Trevor Siemian. It's as simple as that. Trevor Siemian has not been what Denver fans have been trying to tell me, and I'm like, no, just wait. You'll see what quarterback you have starting under center.
Yeah.
And unless
at least he's not Paxton Lynch.
Unless the defense shows up and plays phenomenally, I think that the Arrowhead crowd gives the Chiefs defense enough to stop him and Alex Smith enough to win the game. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below, who do you guys got in some of these big games? Where were we right? Where are we going to be wrong? And also, little housekeeping at the end, too. Check out patreon.com/most valuable podcast. Thank you again to Patrick Hill, our newest $10 pledger, who will be on a podcast next month in November, along with Jake Neverman, who's also on that tier. Go check that out. And also, don't forget, go on iTunes, and rate the podcast, The Onside Kick. Give us a 5-star rating, and then rate all the other podcasts we hear that we have here at Most Valuable Podcast. I'm forgetting to speak English, so I should probably just end this thing. Whether you're on YouTube, thank you guys for watching the picks. We'll have our other segments out just as well. And if you're on Blog Talk Radio, thank you guys for sticking all the way through. It's a treat to talk to you guys, and as always, have a good day, everybody.